Christmas night was meant to feel warm and forgiving wrapped in lights and familiar laughter. Our house was full. Family packed into the living room, plates stacked with food, music humming softly in the background. I tried to stay present, smiling when expected, playing my role. Then, without warning, my wife made a joke. It was sharp, personal, and aimed directly at me. At first, people looked, unsure if they should. Then she added details, private things, moments he had trusted her to protect. The laughter grew louder, harsher. I felt my face burn à every I turned toward me. She smiled brightly, enjoying the attention, une hour or caring of the damage she was causing. In that moment, I realized humiliation cut deepest when it comes from the person meant to guard your dignity. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I simply stood, put on my coat, and walked out into the cold night without a word. The air outside felt sharp but honest. Snow crunched under my shoes. I walked with no destination, only distance. Behind me, the party continued, laughter spilling through the walls as if nothing had happened. That hurt more than the joke itself. I replayed the scene again and again, not searching for clever reply, but understanding that the joke hadn't been spontaneous. It was rehearsed confidence, the kind that grow when someone knows you want to push back in public. I saw how often he had swallowed small humiliation to keep the peace, how silence had trained her to believe there were no consequences. That night, for the first time, he chose not to absorb the blow quietly. Walking away wasn't dramatic. It was necessary. He slept in a small hotel nearby, staring at the ceiling as something unfamiliar settled in. Resolve. Christmas lights blinked outside the window, indifferent to the shift happening inside me. By morning, my phone was full of messages. Some confused, some irritated, non-apologetic. She wanted to know why he'd overacted, why he'd embarrassed her by leaving. He didn't reply. He watched the sunrise instead, realizing how little space my dignity had held in our marriage. He thought about the guest, the laughter, the way humiliation had been served as entertainment. This wasn't about a joke. It was about respect or the absence of it. Silence, he understood, had protected her behavior for years. That morning, he decided it wouldn't anymore. He checked out, drove home briefly, packed essential, and left a note on a kitchen counter. It wasn't angry. It was clear. He needed space. He needed respect. And he needed her to understand that some lines, once crossed publicly, don't fade with apology whispered latte. The cost didn't arrive immediately. It unfolded slowly and quietly, the way real consequences do. Family members began asking questions, not accusatory ones, but curious ones. Why did he leave? What did you say? Stories change when retold without laughter to soften them. The joke lost its charm in daylight. My absence became noticeable, uncomfortable. That evening, her calls turned frantic. She apologized and sincerely this time, but apology offered after an audience feel like damage control. He listened on calmly and told her the truth. Humiliation in private hurt, but humiliation in public reshape how you see someone forever. She cried. He took no pleasure in it. Pain isn't currency, but neither is silence. Over the following days, consequences layered themselves naturally. Her family, on s'amused, grew distant. Friends asked me privately if he was okay, admitting they felt uncomfortable that night, but hadn't known what to do. That mattered more than she realized. Reputation isn't destroyed by one moment. It's changed by how others remember it afterward. At work, she struggled, too. Distracted, emotionally raw. Meanwhile, he felt unexpectedly steady. Hurt, yes, but no longer small. He began therapy not to repair the marriage, but to understand why he had tolerated so much for so long. He learned that people who humiliated her in public often depend on the victim's silence to maintain their power. Removing that silence changed everything. When we finally spoke face to face, there were no raised voices. She asked if he was leaving her. He told her he was leaving a version of himself that accepted disrespect. Whether the marriage survived depended on whether she could understand that difference. She tried to dismiss it as humor, stress, alcohol. He didn't argue. He told her doesn't erase impact and laughter doesn't cancel cruelty. That conversation drained her more than any argument ever had. Accountability weighed more than anger. For the first time, she looked at me not as something unpredictable, but as something unchanged. And change unsettled those who relied on your stillness. Christmas decoration came down quietly that year. No music, no joke, just space. She apologized again, deeper this time, acknowledging the humiliation without excuse. He believed she meant it. Meaning it, however, didn't undo it. Trust isn't rebuilt with word. It's rebuit true behavior over time without an audience. He told her he needed distance to decide what he wanted. That answer frightened her more than yelling ever could have. Silence, when chosen, is powerful. It forced reflection instead of reaction. Weeks later, he noticed something different. She was careful with her word, her tone, and what she shared publicly. That change didn't come from fear of losing me alone. It came from realizing she had already lost something. Control of the narrative. She no longer assumed he would absorb discomfort to protect her image. That was a cost she never imagined paying. The loss of a question permission. Whether or marriage il remain incertain. What is certain is that he will never trade my dignity for temporary peace again. Christmas night taught me that staying silent doesn't always mean staying kind. Sometimes it means abandoning yourself. Walking away was the strongest boundary he had ever set, and it showed longer than any argument could. By the next morning, she understood the cost wasn't embarrassment or gossip. It was certainty. The certainty that respect is not automatic and once damaged publicly, it demand repair, not excuse. He didn't punish her. He chose himself. And that choice changed the balance of everything that followed.